Hello viewer, my name's Don. Thanks for joining me on this tour of the Stowe Landscape Gardens, called the largest work of art in Europe. They were originally created in the 18th century for Lord Cobden, and the 19th century family rose pretty high in the British aristocracy. The owners of Stowe over the years employed the most famous architects and designers of England to improve 359 acres of garden with temples, monuments and grottos. A recent water painting celebrating the recreational aspects of Stowe School. An original etching illustrating the south front of Stowe, designed by Robert Adam and Thomas Pitt in 1774. A very early etching illustrating the garden layout of Stowe, with the building at the top end. This drawing gives a much clearer illustration of the paths and waterways in Stowe. A magnificent picture of Stowe today, which is used as a public school. My wife, Lily, and myself didn't actually enter the school itself, but we used an electric cart to explore the extensive gardens and to look at the follies, or the small garden buildings that have been constructed in the last 200 years. The Temple of Concord and Victory is the largest and greatest of the Stowe temples. Originally called the Grecian Temple, it was built between 1747 and 1749. This temple is to worthy British citizens. On the left are men of letters, thoughts and architectures, with the busts of Alexander Pope, Sir Thomas Gresham, John Milton, William Shakespeare, John Locke, Sir Isaac Newton, and Sir Francis Bacon. On the right-hand side are those famous for their actions in politics and the army, such as King Alfred, the Black Prince, Queen Elizabeth I, and so on. Looking across the 11-acre lake, we see the Temple of Venus, built in 1731 at the start of William Kent's work. Constructed by Francisco Slater, this was perhaps one of the earliest Chinese houses built in gardens. I was captivated by the Palladian Bridge. Unfortunately, the level of the Octagon Lake is much higher than planned as a result of a dam. This is called the Temple of Ancient Virtue, honoring 4 great Greek men. It's a bit of a satire on Lord Cobden's contemporaries, who apparently lacked virtue. The folly was deliberately constructed as a ruin. This is the southwestern corner of the Gothic temple, a really quite weird building constructed by James Gibbs in 1741. This Temple of Friendship is in a ruined state as a result of a fire in the early 19th century. It was built by Gibbs and finished in 1739.